Kant, and I'm with Military Family Support Group. Good afternoon and welcome. We're glad you've joined us here to celebrate the opening of El Dorado Veteran Resources. A lot of orbits have crossed and stars have aligned to make this happen, but let me briefly take you back to the very beginning. 7 years ago, a son came home to El Dorado County from the War on Terror in shocking condition. The once athletic, bright, social young man had become an anorexic shut-in, riddled by anxiety, paranoia, chronic pain, and bouts of rage and destruction, who was difficult to connect with. No family is ever prepared for this, and their outlook was bleak. His mother desperately sought ways to help her son since he was incapable of helping himself. She and her husband had attended military family support group meetings while their son was deployed and had learned a little bit about PTSD, but the magnitude of their son's poor condition was overwhelming. The folks at Mather weren't willing to interact with the mother, yet the son was unable to advocate for his own care. The family was stuck in a nightmare. The mother came here to our local VA office, right here, to seek advice and guidance, but was told only that if her son was a danger to himself or others, they should call 911. That's it. That is all they had to offer, this mother. And that is all they were authorized to say at the time. In their defense, they had limited resources to offer, but can you imagine that mother's disappointment and her sense of despair? So that veteran is my son, and I was that mother. And my despair turned to determination that I would do what I could to ensure that no other family in El Dorado County would be turned away without hope. We don't have all of the answers, but we can help find them at the very least. We can listen compassionately so family members of veterans or veterans themselves don't feel alone. I could never have done this without the support of my husband, Hervé LeConte. Thanks, honey, wherever you are. He's great. I'm grateful to say that our son is doing much better and is receiving the care that he needs. If you met him now, you would not know he had been in such bad shape just a few years ago. We've learned a lot, and my hair is a lot grayer. Hervé and I have had the great good fortune to meet some amazing people who have made it possible for us to arrive at this grand opening celebration. We could not get here alone, and many are here with us today, and we're very grateful. One of those great people is Chaplain Tim Thompson, who has graciously agreed to give us a benediction today. So I'm going to turn the mic over to Tim.
Let's ask a blessing on this. Lord, we are so grateful for this organization and that Julie and her husband had to go through that experience with their son. But you are the one that turns darkness into light. And this light now is the Veteran Resource Center that will prove to be resources to so many in our area that need help and assistance. That there is a place they know where they can turn, where they can get answers. And if they don't get the answers, they will get direction. That there is a caring people and caring hearts. And again, the heart of your, towards your people is service. So we consecrate this, we dedicate this to the service of the veterans of El Dorado County, that they will be served here at this permanent stand down. We are so grateful and blessed to have people that are willing to serve in this capacity and this facility, and ask for your continued blessing to be upon it. And we ask all this in your holy name. Amen.
What an honor for me. Thank you, Julie, for allowing me the privilege to be a part of this great event. I'm just a guy who sings. And
Oh no, he's more than that.
I bless each veteran here for giving me the space to live my life freely and to take advantage of every opportunity that this country offers to those who are willing to work hard and to do what it takes for themselves and to take advantage of every opportunity made available by this great country. I want to sing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Good afternoon, I'm Gary Campbell. We just completed our service up at the monument, and some of you were there. We thank you so much for your attendance. We are so delighted to see what's going on here. Julie and her group have filled a very, very large need. And having it right here in Placerville, it's very befitting, because this is a county where there's 18,000 veterans. They call this county home for many, many reasons. This is one of them. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce what we just named our Veteran of the Year for 2018, Chief Petty Officer Bill Schultz. Bill.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can everybody hear me? How's that? Okay, I've got to tell you, this morning was such an honor that being named Veteran of the Year just actually blew me away. I couldn't believe it. But part of my duties as a county employee is to be the department director, interim though it may be, for the Veterans Affairs Office. I started this almost 5 years ago, and we've seen many changes. I can, oh yeah, big difference. I'm sorry. Anyway, once I took over the office, there were a couple of things that I saw that I could improve. So I started working on that. This county has been so fortunate to have a board of supervisors that's always supported us throughout the years. The Veterans Affairs Office, the Veterans Affairs Commission, those things are the product of support from your board of supervisors. So one thing that I noticed was veterans come and go. When a veteran is deceased, lots of times their family knows nothing of where their papers are. What is a DD-214? Veterans don't tend to talk, even to their families, too much about their experiences. And it's sad, but that's just the way we are. Some do, some don't. But the thing that I thought was, if I could come up with a way to get them into the office, to get into our database. And the thing I came up with was a veteran's ID card. So I bought the machines, we got some training in it, and we started it. We've got hundreds of veterans now with veteran ID cards. And so I want to explain again what this does is you have to have a DD-214 in order to get a veteran's ID card. You just bring it in or come in, we'll get it for you. So don't worry about that if you haven't got one. So what happens is all your personal information is on that DD-214. We enter it into our database. The veteran leaves. Maybe he or she will come back, maybe they won't. But one day, when a time, their family is going to be very concerned and probably uneducated in the way of military matters. So the best thing that can happen is if your loved one has been in here and got a veteran ID card, which costs nothing, by the way, then we've taken away most of those parts of the pain in losing your loved one. You just come see us, we'll take care of you. So part of that rubbed off into the Military Family Support Group, which Julie really got into. And so we helped her and her organization. She stepped up. Her organization has helped the veterans and the Veterans Council that run this building. It's worked very well. Now, she also came up with the idea of a Veterans Resource Center. We had a small cabinet downstairs that the Military Family Support Group had started, and you could come in and donate canned goods, toiletry supplies, anything that you wanted to, and it would go in this small cabinet that's downstairs as you walk in. Julie decided to take it one step further, and what a
You
step.
mentioned the support of the Board of Supervisors, and we have seen that many times in our organization, and we know that they are there for veterans, and I mean all of them. One of them that's been at the forefront of this is a good friend of mine and has helped us immeasurably at the Monument and many other of the veterans programs we've done. I'm honored to introduce my friend, Brian Veerkamp.
Thank you so much, Gary, and thank you again for everybody for being here. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the County Board of Supervisors to recognize Julie and Hervé today. For Lori and I, this goes back well before most of this. Our kids all grew up together at Camino School, and we got to experience Julie and Hervé in action many times prior to obviously all of this. And Bill was absolutely correct. When you want something done, you just ask. You don't even have to ask. Hervé and Julie jump in with both feet, and they have really done an outstanding job relevant to this. And today is a monumental occasion in El Dorado County. And from the Board of Supervisors, and I know all of our veterans in this county, and I know you've touched other veterans as well, our heartfelt thanks. We'll never be able to say thanks enough. And we wish the best, most success that you could get, and we will be right here behind you helping all the way. So again, thanks for everybody for being here. We appreciate it, and we will move on, getting close to the ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Presenting a certificate of recognition from the State Assembly, please welcome Kevin Kiley. Kevin.
It's a great day for El Dorado County, and I just want to commend everyone who worked so hard to make this day possible. I also, of course, want to acknowledge all of the veterans who are here today. President Kennedy said that a nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by those who it honors and remembers. And Veterans Day is an occasion to remember and honor with a special kind of gratitude all those who have served, to recognize the valor and sacrifice of all those who have fought for our magnificent country, and to thereby be reminded of how much we have that is worth fighting for. It's also a chance to recognize the extraordinary contributions that our veterans continue to make to the community. As was just mentioned, the 18,000 veterans here in the county. The values and character of this county are very, very deeply rooted, and I know how central our community of veterans is to that. And finally, it's a chance to have a yearly call to action to renew our solemn responsibility and great privilege to provide care and support for every veteran who needs it. And in that sense, this opening of the Veterans Resource Center today is a most fitting way to observe Veterans Day. And Julie, on behalf of the California State Assembly, it is my honor to present you today with this certificate of recognition.
very much. That was very unexpected. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Kevin, for coming up and doing that. It's nice to have the state recognize the work of some of our local people and in something this important. It's just really good to have the state involved in recognizing this. I would now like to introduce somebody that probably needs absolutely no introduction, Sheriff John DeAugustini. John, are you here? I meant that in a good way. Oh, he's got the DeAugustini scowl going.
Thank you very much. It's my absolute honor to be standing here before you today. I'm not a veteran, so anytime I'm given the opportunity to speak for veterans, in front of veterans, I'm extremely humbled. And Julie and Hervé, I got to tell you guys, everything that you've done in this community, that you've done for our office, for our K-9 program, for everything that you do, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, from our whole county. So it's no secret, a sheriff's office, law enforcement, we're a paramilitary organization. We have a chain of command. While we encourage everybody to be part, or to have part in the leadership of the organization, there are times, as in the military, where sometimes you just got to follow orders. For us in the sheriff's office, it's really hard to hire good people, to hire good, honest, hard-working folks that understand the chain of command, that understand leadership, that understand service. So whenever we get a veteran, it's a huge benefit and a plus and a blessing for our agency. A lot of our employees are, what's the word I want? They're still serving. They're still in reserve, active reserves. So we lose them sometimes up to a year. And when they come back, to have these resources available for them, not only them, but for their families, and their families know this resource is available, is huge for us. It's huge for us. We can't thank you enough for doing this and having this here. For those veterans that we have in the agency, both active, reserve, and retired, I don't know what to say. It really means a lot to us. So I thank you. It's going to be nice to have immediate place to go for somebody and steer them in the right direction. So Julie, thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. We really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much, folks.
I would now like to introduce William Scrivani, United States Air Force retired, who's the chairman of the MFSG Veteran Resource Committee. Bill.
See, I have no idea everything that has happened so quickly to make this all come together. So it started with UBASADA's permanent stand-down visit with David Zielinski and Julie and myself. The House Counsel for allowing space to be made available to share with the building manager's office. The Veterans Affairs Office and their amazing support with two of the Veterans Affairs Office people on our board, our governing board. Julie, the driving force behind everything, endless energy, unbelievable, and wonderful, wonderful to work with. So there is a thing here that gets overlooked often. The permanent stand-down portion of this, those veterans that never make the transition back into civilian life, never make the transition back into being productive citizens. Those veterans that are living on the street, drug and alcohol abusers. It's not a population we all like to deal with, but they stepped forward and served. It's important to remember that since the end of the draft, every veteran in uniform volunteered. Okay? So now we're asking for you, the community, non-veterans, to come forward and support your veterans. So I'd like to thank you all so very, very much.
Thank you, Bill. For the past 3 years, the El Dorado County Veterans Alliance has been a partner with Serrano Country Club in an event we call Salute to Valor at Serrano. It's become the single largest fundraising event in El Dorado County for veterans. Due to the generosity of the wonderful people at Serrano Country Club, many, many wonderful sponsors, and just, it's a great time. We usually have it in September. Lots of fun, so put September 24th on your calendars and don't be late. It is my pleasure to introduce first my co-chair, Cindy Pelly. We were co-chairs of the event this year, and Cindy just did a hell of a job. She did a great job. And it is also now our distinct pleasure to present to Julie a check for $5,000 to military support. Cindy?
Julie, on behalf of Salute to Valor at Serrano, it was our pleasure to put this thing together and give people like you something to help with your cause. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a humbling moment. Thank you very much, both of you. And thanks to the Serrano Salute to Valor. That money's going to help a lot of veterans. You know, like 97% of donations to our organization goes directly to helping veterans in need, or their families, or widows of veterans, or active duty military families. It all goes to good works. I'd like to just take this time now to acknowledge some other donors and sponsors. I'm very uncomfortable with this kind of being the Julie show, because Julie did not do this alone. Julie has a lot of support and a lot of good people behind me, and I could never have done this by myself. I'm not a businesswoman. But I'm very grateful to all the help I've had and all the people who are behind this engine pushing it along. First of all, I'd like to thank the Veterans Memorial Building House Council for their unwavering support. Nothing could have been accomplished without their generosity. That's for sure. They've made accommodations for MFSG to meet here many years, and they've also accommodated us as we have grown with our military community free pantry, and now with even sharing their office space right behind me at no cost to us. The House Council consists of the leaders of each of our local veteran service groups, and we would not be where we are today without the Veterans Memorial Building House Council. Great people. That same holds true for Bill Schultz, our fearless leader. He's a quiet one, and he's behind the scenes, and he's pushing a lot of buttons and levers and dropping curtains and raising curtains, and yeah, he's very humble, but I don't think I'd be standing here if it wasn't for Bill's support. Sure. So, Military Family Support Group has a board of directors and officers. We are small, but we are mighty. So none of this would happen without them. I wouldn't be standing here at all. So my husband, Hervé, I'd like to acknowledge. I'd also like to acknowledge our other board member, Bill Bellis, and our secretary, Aurora Millette. Like I said, we're small, but we're mighty. We're looking for a treasurer, by the way. If anybody's qualified and interested, this would be a great time to step up. I hear my husband laughing. We're serious. So our board-appointed committee, the Veteran Resource Committee, which is the driving force behind this little endeavor, the majority of us met a few years ago at a military mental health first aid class hosted by Military Family Support Group. Never, I don't think, did any of us imagine that we would be working together in this capacity to effect such hope for veterans in our county. I'd just like to acknowledge Bill Scrivani, Lance Poinsett, Patricia Morello, David Zielinski, Christine Lee Taylor, and Suzanne Weisner, and support from all kinds of others. And that's in no particular order, but I'm just very grateful to them. They are the driving force behind El Dorado Veteran Resources. And it's our hope that we'll have lots of community partners who's willing to help us out, and we definitely do need volunteer help. And there are applications downstairs if anybody's interested. I'll make this brief, and then we're almost done. But The Windfall has been is a wonderful local publication, and they have consistently sponsored Military Family Support Group and El Dorado Veteran Resources. A big acknowledgement has to go to Our Savior Episcopal Church through Episcopal Community Services Outreach. They've granted a $12,000 3-year funding for El Dorado Veteran Resources. Some of that, yes. Some of that funding provides us with grocery and gasoline gift cards for veterans in need, and we can use that money to help in other ways as well. I also want to acknowledge Holden Sheet Metal Restoration. They hosted a car show fundraiser for us, I think about a month ago, and they raised over $1,000 also for the opening of this office. We're very grateful. We've got some sponsors for today's luncheon event, and it's Paramount Partners Group, who donated $400, and Folsom Lake Ford were here also, and they brought in $100, and we are grateful for every cent. I also want to acknowledge Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 385 from Folsom. They've donated $350 to help get us started here, and we're just really grateful. And also Amber, and I'm going to mess up her last name so bad, and I don't mean to, Jacare at Envoy Mortgage, and she donated a lot of our luncheon supplies, as well as the State of Jefferson El Dorado County group. And that's it. I think now I think we can get on to the ribbon cutting.
And here we go.
1, 2, 3, pull. Pull.